Hi everyone, Tales Point Horror Book Club Day, and we're reading The Invitation. And I'm glad I found you because there's so many rooms in this place. It's so dark, but I did fill in my sticker sheet. Yay! So we're going to be chatting about this wild ride of a book. Hi everyone! Right, just add our special guest in, which is Gina. Let me know if you my water. So I don't know whether they're working. So let me know. So Gina should be here. Hi Gina. Oh, hiya. Oh, I can't hear you. 1 second. It might be my earphones. 1 sec. I'm going to unplug. Can I hear you now? Oh no, I can't. Oh dear. Do you want to try and unplug? Can you hear me? Okay. Do you want to try and unplug yours?
Right, let's see if this works.
Yay!
Yay.
Let me plug mine back in. Let's see if it works. There. The view.
We'll just get rid of these. They're too high tech for talking about this book anyway.
Oh, we can hear you now. Yay! I was like just worried it was my headphones because I've just literally just grabbed them out of the pot and dropped them in my water just before the chat. I was like, no. Always happens. How are you, Gina?
I'm well, thank you. I'm really raring to go with this one. I finished it today and I remembered how ridiculous parts of it are, but that's part of the joy with these books.
Oh, I can't wait to chat to you about it. And thanks for joining us again because you joined us last year, I think it was. The time's flying so quick. For Mother's Helper.
Yes.
Yeah, and that was a fun one as well. So, and then I said, if I do the invitation, when I do it, because I knew it was one of your favourites, come back on and join us. So I was like, Gina, come back on. I love
Oh,
Gina's
I'm so pleased.
earrings, Zelda says. They're
I've got
amazing.
lemons. I was looking through my very extensive earring collection and trying to find something that was book appropriate, and I didn't come away. I mean, I had some big chunks of gold that I imagine that Cassandra might enjoy, but we've just gone to the lemons.
I think it's very 80s/90s. I love them. They're brilliant.
Maybe whisk up or make a kind of cocktail, although I don't think any alcohol is mentioned in this book, so maybe just some juice or something.
I think they needed alcohol. Let's put it that way.
Well, gosh, everything would have been better drunk in this book, sure.
Oh, so if you don't know Gina, Gina is the brilliant author of YA thrillers Love You to Death and also You Can Trust Me. And also some twisty fairy tales, Good Enough to Eat, All the Better to See You, which is a Red Riding Hood whodunit, which I still need to read because ticks lots of boxes. So definitely need to check them out. But yeah, Gina is a brilliant author. Do check these books out because if you like point horror, you will love Gina's books.
And
Definitely.
there are quite a lot of parties in them. Every YA book, good YA book, in my rule book has to have at least one really good party in.
Oh, I love that. So do you think that, because I know you said this was a favourite, so do you think that back when you read The Invitation back in the day that it maybe has inspired some of your writing as an adult?
Oh, it absolutely has. It's not an exaggeration to say that book was definitely a formative influence on me. I think it's just the idea of parties. Because when you write books, the idea of all of the characters getting together in one place where you're supposed to be having fun, it's
Mm.
highly charged. Depending on the type of party, it might be glamorous, there might be alcohol, there might be people you're crushing on, all of that stuff. I think it's just the dramatic possibilities. And I remember as a kid when I was far too uncool to go to any parties, when we were kind of on the level of going down to the bowling alley and then
Yeah.
maybe Wendy's to get started.
Whoop, whoop.
I know But Wendy's is sadly where I live. Wendy's is really popular now. They've all
Oh,
started coming back,
oh,
which takes
nice.
me back. Yeah, but
Oh,
anyway, it's
those were
just
the
all that
days.
party. I know. And when the Wendy's that I grew up with, before I went to any parties, had this really cool ketchup tap that I thought was it blew my mind in the 90s. Like,
Oh.
ketchup comes out.
Oh yeah, I remember those. Like the first, I think there used to be. We used to go to a Whimpy, I think, in Birmingham. There was like a Whimpy, and they had like a pumpy ketchup thing. I always remember it. Oh, so 90s, love it.
I know, but now every single McDonald's you go to just has one of those
Yeah,
as standard, something
yeah.
so special, and now they're widespread.
I
But
love
I
that.
got off topic into ketchup somehow. Um,
That's what we like.
the glamour and the anticipation, and I already said that to me, every good book has at least one party, and I'm sure it stems from this one because it is literally about the party to die for. So I've only quite recently realised that that clearly was a formative
Oh,
influence on
oh,
my thing
wow.
about parties. I mean, especially this one. This is just one big party. There's absolutely tons of them. So I
Yeah.
kind of have been
Oh,
thanked for
yeah.
that.
I love that. I love how like rereading it maybe as you've realised, oh, it has actually had such an influence on me. Because I do love a book with like a party and murder and games, definitely. Like this one, like I'd say like a modern version of this would be Stags by M.A. Bennett, I think it is.
I have
Um,
read that.
yeah,
Yes.
very like I was rereading this and I thought, oh, like it really reminds me of Stags, which I read a couple of years ago. But obviously this one came first. But I mean, it's not the same, but it's like just the vibes. It's set in a house, rich people, they're playing these games, and it all goes disastrously wrong.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Although I think in Stags, the house actually had some geographical limits, whereas I'm struggling to visualize this one. It's massive. It has like saunas installed in woodlands. It has stables. I think this blessed house and its ground. What I'm
on top of
talking
the
about
hill.
it. I know. Well, exactly, because hill to me seems quite kind of compact, and yet the house has absolutely no limits.
It's huge, huge. I just have a quick look at the comments. So Sharon said this was crazy and such fun. Speedway Chick said, I love this one. Larissa said, motive aside, it was a really solid, well-paced one. Maggie kicked ass, and shockingly, the guy wasn't a creep weirdo. So we'll have a chat about the characters in a minute. Hello from Virginia. Hi, Stargazer. Um, I've lost track. Oh, Kirsty said, "Oh, a ketchup tap would work well in a slasher." Yeah,
It could be a false lead. Is it ketchup or is it blood?
just go taste it and
Taste
see.
it. It depends
Oh,
on how intelligent your hero or heroine is. Is it ketchup? Is it blood?
oh, Speed Racing said Wimpy, and Sharon has a Mr. Wimpy pencil case. No way! I need to see a picture of that.
Um,
That's so cool. Larissa said that's a blast from the past about Wimpy. Remember having to evacuate the metro centre as a kid because of a fire in the Wimpy? Oh wow!
oh,
Uh, Sharon said, to be fair,
amazing.
they needed more fires in the Wimpy to get rid of them. Oh dear.
But
Uh,
there is a Wimpy local to me as well, but
I think
it
they're
looks
making
like
a
it hasn't.
comeback.
It
Definitely.
looks like it hasn't moved on from the 90s, so I'm a bit scared to go in there, to be honest with you.
Narissa said definitely been a few films in recent years that have similar vibes to The Invitation. Yeah, definitely. I agree on
Mm.
that. And Narissa said, taste it. My word, Shelley, you could tell by the smell. Oh, memories. Good memories.
Good memories. Winkies and Wendy's.
So, as you mentioned, the tagline for this one was a party like no other. And I kind of agree. The tagline does fit the book. It was a very unique party. Very
Yeah,
unique.
but it's frankly really rubbish entertainment because, I mean, even excusing the fact that this is not today, the idea of we're going to go round in this house and collect these little stickers and put them on a post-it note just really farcical, all things considered. And we keep getting told how sophisticated Cassandra is, and her big fan is just stickers, really. And people have sounds exciting, but it just boils down to stickers.
I have to say, like, if someone gave me a card and told me to go and collect the stickers, that's my kind of party. Like, I'd be like, oh, I've got to get them all
Gotta
stickers.
get but I
Yeah.
also imagined them, and I think they were meant to be a bit like those stickers you get from WH Smith or Ryman's, round
Yeah,
ones. Maybe when
round
you're
one.
about five, you think are exciting.
Oh, I've never got out of that phase, Gina, I have to admit. Give me a
I
sticker book.
do love a good sticker, and stationery will continue to excite me until the day that I die.
Yeah, so we agree with Cassandra on that one, apart from, yeah, a little bit of a letdown on the sophistication. Like Sharon says, musical chairs at a teen party. Yes. um,
I've got two kids and I've done some musical chairs, but for Cassandra to have that impeccable timing to eliminate who she wants, I mean,
exactly.
how? I mean, has she been practicing with her friends beforehand? Is she just really lucky?
I think all these years we've been doing musical chairs wrong. We could have got all the people out there and we didn't want to win just by, stopping it on the corner.
Exactly. It would be a massive corner. And I was thinking about the logistics of this, but I mean, what would have happened if she'd have messed up and one of her friends had gone out? I guess she would have just carried on, but
Oh, yeah, knowing Cassandra, she would have been like, oh, no, 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 that was a mistake.
yeah, that was
Carry
just the
on.
practice round.
Oh dear. So there will be, I know we've just chatted a little bit about it, but there are going to be major spoilers ahead going forward for the invitation. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, come back later. But if you have, we're going to spoil it. So basically, the book is about rich snob and popular bitch, Cassandra Rockham, who we've just mentioned, and she's throwing her annual fall party. And Sarah and her friends all get this very unexpected invite. But why would she invite the unpopular crowd? So maybe Cassandra was just worried about leaving them out. You never know. So Cassandra certainly gave them a party that they would never forget. So as we mentioned, they played musical chairs and became actually part of the party with Cassandra's very own people hunt.
Actually, a sticker hunt.
Sticker hunt, yes. I mean, shout out to there's one girl, I think I wrote it down. I think when Cassandra's saying the rules of the game, and there's this blonde girl here on page 60 who commented on I think it was, oh no, of course, hang on, let me find it. I've got to find, but basically she basically doesn't understand the rules of the game. She's like, then it's not a people hunt, it's just a stupid sticker hunt,
Yeah,
she says to Cassandra. And I was like, go, blonde girl.
exactly. The voice of reason that we all needed and never returned.
Oh no, I'll never see her again. She got lost getting the stickers. So basically, Cassandra gets Sarah and her friends locked up in rooms around the house and instructs people to follow the clues to find them and collect the stickers. So basically, think Saw, but with brightly coloured stickers, is what we're saying. Yeah. But someone begins playing another game and putting Sarah and her friends into new hiding places, facing near certain death and taking a sinister twist. But who is doing it and why? Oh dear. So if you got a really unexpected invite to this party, so the party of the season, like, would you go?
Oh, you see, I want to say, yeah, of course I'd go. But the thing is that I wouldn't because I'm far too sensible to do something like that, which is why I'd be terrible in a book. And also, despite my fascination with parties, I'm actually really, really rubbish at them. I've got a very limited toleration. I go and they're great for an hour and then I just time out and I've had enough. But I would also get massive FOMO if I didn't go.
It's a
So it's
hard one.
fun. It
Yeah.
is. It is tricky. Like if I was a teenager, I definitely wouldn't because I wouldn't have the
Yeah.
guts. Now I might be a little bit more relaxed, but I would want there to be an end time on the invitation so I could know when can I go home and get into my pajamas and decompress.
All about the
Yeah.
PJs.
Would you go to it?
This is what I was thinking when I was thinking as I wrote it, because I thought Diane Hoh did a really good job of like not just getting them all to say yes to the party straight away. She explored that like turmoil of should they go. I mean, Sarah more so that she didn't want to go, and I was like, I think I'd be like Sarah, and I'd be like, I don't want to go, but because my friends want to go, I'll go with you and
Yeah.
support you.
I think that's well done, actually. We've got quite a few chapters of the should we stay, should we
Yeah.
go? And now it's important because it gives us the chance to get to know everybody and what
Mm,
each characters actually want.
yeah.
So that's quite good. It makes for maybe a bit of a slower start,
Yeah.
but I think it works.
Yeah, and especially when you get to the point where the characters are being led off to their like imprisonment rooms for the people hunt, like you kind of get why they do follow and they don't really queer it because they're so excited to be at the party. I mean, I know a
Yeah.
couple of them do say like, "Oh, well, what's going on?" But they still follow and they still
Yeah,
go.
do. But it's not specified how many people are at this party, but I imagine it's just the people looking at them. You probably would go along with it in those circumstances, at least leaving the room before you get imprisoned. Now,
Yeah.
on the imprisonment rooms, one thing I have to mention that I loved was just the room that Sarah's imprisoned in, the music room. That's just this really bitchy move by Cassandra. She's got this discordant kind of heavy metal or whatever it is music playing that Sarah's like, this is the worst thing about being here. This music, this
Oh,
noise.
yeah, she doesn't like heavy metal.
No, there's no reason for it to be playing. I like to think it's just a bitch move on Cass's behalf, but
Yeah.
then she doesn't even know their names, so I don't know how she'd know that Sarah hates this.
Oh yeah, and like, what happened to that band? Like, they just didn't get mentioned again after the first because they were meant to be in the house. Well, they were in the house, right? Because they were in the
Yeah,
room next to Sarah's imprisonment. But yeah,
yeah,
never
they
to be
did.
heard of
No.
again.
And
Mm.
well, maybe there's an alternate version of them getting trapped in rooms. I mean, even the caterers, who I love because they serve food specifically for teenagers, they get mentioned again.
Yeah. But I was like, oh, that did Cassandra, knowing Cassandra, she locked them in the room as well and told them they had to play like 24/7. Then they get a sticker.
Even if no one's there, you're just going to be playing as part of the ambience.
That's it. Karen said, yeah, honestly, I'd be dead chuffed to go to a 90s sticker party. Yeah.
Now, for sure, absolutely right.
Sharon said I'd have been raiding the parents' booze stash and finding a comfy chair at the party. Uh, Larissa said keeping a very close cunning eye, that Cass was, yeah. And I noticed Larissa meant about tasting the ketchup earlier in a previous comment. So Eddie Ray said, from tasting ketchup to check for blood to happy sticker hunting, this is going to be a fun chat. Karen said, saw with brightly coloured stickers needs to be the tagline on the book. Yeah, that's essentially what it is. It's like a mild PG saw.
Yeah, I, I can see it now in a reprint. Instead of the invitation, you've got a sticker sheet with a splash of red on it.
Yeah, I think they missed the trick there, not putting like the sticker sheet on the front. Like, I mean, it wouldn't have had the same effect, I guess, but you know.
No. And if you did get an invitation that just said RSVP or die, I mean, obviously, that's
Yeah.
a PJ evening for sure.
Definitely. Larissa said Cass probably should have had some therapy, seeing as she thinks keeping people against their will equals casual fun. So true.
Hey, she's fascinating, but I don't know. I think she'd go to therapy and it would just go over her head.
So, what did you like Cass like as a character? Like, what did you think of her?
I liked her because I think it's her sheer obliviousness to everything normal that I
Yeah,
quite enjoyed. It's not realistic, but she's angry when people don't want to play along with what is really quite a tame
yeah,
game. She's cross when Riley does things like call an ambulance and the police. She's annoyed when everything goes wrong. And at the end, she has this wonderful moment where she says, I may never be allowed to throw a party again.
I
I
wrote that down as well.
I
I was like,
just got
classic.
such a good girl who just everything you throw at her, all of this awful stuff, straight over her head, absolutely
Yeah,
straight over. So I kind of
yeah,
loved her presence, and I loved that she was there at the end as
yeah,
well. Just
yes.
she's periphery to the action, and she's thinking, "What on earth's going on?" But may
My
never be
poor
allowed to throw a
party.
party again.
Oh dear, but yeah, I loved her as a character. I just thought she was like, as you say, oblivious to everything, very self-absorbed, but just like one of those characters that you love to hate.
Yeah.
And I,
And she gets this super villain introduction in the first chapter, and you think she's cool, calculating,
yeah,
mean. Actually, she is a mean girl, but she's just quite oblivious.
yeah. Then we meet her, like, yeah, so she's built up to be like this really, I was expecting like really, really bitchy. I mean, I'm not saying that she was the nicest person, but when you meet her, she's a bit PG.
PG, she's just annoyed. She's not
Mm,
cold. She's not.
mm.
She is ruthless. But I think the worst of her is the first chapter.
Yeah, definitely. And I think someone says at one point, so I wrote about that, I'll never be able to throw a party again down, the same as you. And then I also wrote that someone said, doesn't she make it sound as if the loser would be taken out and shot? And I was like, no, don't give her ideas. She probably would
She
do
would
that.
do that, and maybe the winner gets to hold the gun and shoot the loser. That is kind of her idea of party games.
Yeah, she'd probably do that. Don't suggest it. Oh dear. Karen's put, this is why social media is fab. No more FOMO. Just look online. Yeah. See, it was as terrible as expected and go and read for the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just look online and see everyone
Mm.
posting about she made me play musical chairs and then think, you know what, I'm not six anymore.
Kirsty said, I'd say yes to go to the party, but then it would get to the day and I just want to stay home in my PJs. Oh, yeah, that's so true. We say yes to these things in advance, and then as it gets closer, we're like, oh. Mm.
Especially if it's dark and you've got to go outside. And I
Oh,
can't remember the. No, it would have been dark here because it's October, isn't it? Because it
yeah.
gives Cass time to get rid of any friends who pick up bad habits over summer, which I also love.
Oh, yeah, I love that. That was brilliant. Stargazer said, I need to know if there was going to be whiskey at the party before agreeing to go. Yeah, that's a big factor. Sharon said, back in the day, I'd definitely go. I was always at a party, but now, nah, unless it's at my house and in my PJs. And Stargazer said, no games. I hate party games. You would not like Cassie's games.
No,
Definitely
I'm
not.
sure that she could do, deadly pass the parcel. Maybe there's a bomb or something if you win and it explodes.
You could
And
imagine her doing something like that,
yeah,
definitely.
or pin the tail on the unfortunate guest, which would be even
Yeah.
crueler.
Oh dear. See, she had so many possibilities and she chose stickers.
I know. She needed to think a little bit more. She could have been meaner. and not waste so much stationery.
Yeah. Larissa said she would probably go to the party to have a nosy around. Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good point.
No,
Yeah,
speed.
you would.
Yeah, yeah, to have a little nosy at the big mansion on top of the hill.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then
the
just,
sauna in the woods.
yeah,
Yeah.
sauna in the woods. Now, Speedway Chick put, I actually really liked Riley. So Riley was the love interest. Before I say what I thought, what did you think, Gina? Did you like Riley? Did we need him in this book?
I'm I'm quite torn on Riley. And the reason why I'm torn is this. What I loved about him is he calls the police and he calls the ambulance and he's that sensible person who's just doing things that people don't always do in
Hmm.
books. They of course you call the police. So he was sensible to that extent. But outside of him doing the right thing, I guess he was just quite a normal guy. And in a book where I kind of wanted, totally insane, he didn't quite tick that box for me.
Mm,
I would have liked him more maybe if he was more like a wild person or more like one of the rich crowd. And then he realizes, no, I've had enough. And he has a bit of an arc
mm,
himself.
mm.
But he starts, a reasonable, nice guy, and he ends a reasonable, nice guy. And
Yeah.
I feel like he takes a little bit of the agency and spotlight away from Sarah, who goes a bit quiet towards the end. So,
Mm.
I mean, I think if I met Riley in real life, I'd like him, and his hair is very nice, and his bizarre. But I just think he's a bit dull, unfortunately.
Well, I'm the same as you. I was a bit torn. So I like the description. Like I loved his canary yellow sports car mention because I've got a yellow car. So I was like, repping the
Oh,
yellow car. But yeah, we're told automatically he's so cute, brown eyes, great smile, crisp white shirts and things like
love a
that. But
crisp white shirt.
oh, yeah, I have to say, yeah, I agree. But I was torn on him because I was like, I don't think Sarah really needed him. Like, he's a
No.
nice guy, but I think it was just to put a love interest in there rather than him actually doing anything.
That weird, they know nothing about each other, and there's that weird moment where he gives her a very quick kiss and she doesn't have time to think about it. And I forgot about that
Mm,
because it's
mm,
so inappropriate. I mean, I know why it's there, obviously, but just there's no, I don't get the chemistry between them,
yeah.
really.
I mean, she just mentioned at the beginning, like, oh, Riley, like, so she's obviously had a crush on him. So I get it. But then when you get to the mansion, I didn't get that impression that she was so, like, you know, having such a crush on him anymore. I don't know. It just didn't fit with me. But he was a nice guy. He wasn't like a douchey point horror boy like they normally are.
He just wanted to do the right thing. He had
Mm.
morals. He acted on those morals. No one else's. So you've got to like him for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the chemistry is just not there for me.
Yeah.
And I'm not picturing a long and happy future for Sarah and Riley, put it that way.
Well, I love the bit when Riley kind of says, "Oh, I'm worried that after all of this, like, all you're going to think about me is big scary mansion." Like, do we think that was the case? I do.
I do as well. I don't think she can disassociate Riley from this really dreadful night, especially because I think once they actually have a normal conversation, which they don't get to do, I don't
Yeah, that's true.
think there's anything there
Yeah,
apart from, recuperating from the trauma.
yeah.
So I picture them going through the school corridors and she catches sight of him and she just thinks, oh, the big scary house and scuttles away. But
Oh,
maybe I'm just
yeah.
being a bit
You'd have
mean.
to stop wearing the crisp white shirts and wear something different.
A crisp white shirt, which I don't think he does wear to the
Mm,
party, that would be
mm.
absolutely dreadful for a point horror book. It would be asking to get blood/ketchup just splattered all over it.
That's so true. Oh dear. Larissa said Cass was such a good character, probably quite accurate to completely out of touch rich folks. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think Diane Hoh did really well at that type of character. Definitely. Kirsty said Riley is a good egg. He immediately tries to do the right thing. Yeah, that's true.
He
He does.
And that's why we like him, just because no one else is.
Yeah. And Speed Rated said, I actually want a sequel for more Sarah and Riley. Oh, yeah,
Mm.
that would be actually, I would read that. Like, I'm not, this is what I
Yeah,
mean. I was torn over him.
they
Torn.
don't know each other and they don't get the chance because, in fairness, Riley is so very focused on helping her, but he's not
Mm,
trying to distract her or talk to the cute girl. They're very focused and on
yeah.
task, which is likable, even if I wouldn't have minded a bit of fooling around beforehand.
Sharon said the supervillain intro for Cass was amazing, even telling us she had a powder blue bedroom, which I don't think was ever mentioned again. Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, Powder Blue is just so innocent but
So
so evil. And
cool.
I loved in this book, we had so many details of the colours and what they were
Mm.
wearing. I mean, I maybe didn't need 10 mentions of Sarah's rust-coloured dress, but I got them anyway.
Yeah, there was lots of like party dresses, like the red dress. Oh yeah, there was lots of like vibrant colours,
And the
which
green dress that Ellie has to wear.
oh,
Oh, I have to say, that really got me in the feels when
mm,
her sister ruined the peacock dress because I was, a very fugly and, quite a big, stocky sort of teenager. And I just know the power of a dress that transforms you. And it
oh.
just gets ruined, and then she's got this matronly, mumsy dress. My heart really went out to her there, genuinely.
Yeah, and you could just imagine her like, I mean, that Ruth, the sister, was called, wasn't it? Awful, awful to Ella.
Really
But yeah,
blessed. I'm not
yeah.
sure how much nail varnish was on it because I've
Mm.
got nail varnish on things, and maybe I just have low standards. I still would have worn the dress,
Yeah,
or maybe a
I
necklace to
still would
cover
have.
it
I would have
up.
been like, yeah, whatever. I'm not wearing my mum's old 80s dress. Or maybe I probably would now, to be
Oh, I
honest.
would now.
Vintage,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm not the
Not as a
same size.
teen.
I'm not the same size as my mum, but she's got some amazing stuff in her
Yeah.
wardrobe. Like, what's me?
Speed Rating said I watched the film Ready or Not about hide and seek, and that was an intense game. Yeah, we covered that for the movie club that I run. Such a good film that is. It's brilliant, but it has these types of vibes, the invitation vibes, definitely. Eddie May said she liked Riley, and he was bold enough to sneak in a quick smooch in the middle of the chaos.
Yeah, I guess so. I just sort of read it as a really quick off we go, but I think framing it as bold makes me like him more.
Yeah.
Why not?
And Sharon said Riley was a good boy, bit bland but harmless. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Narissa's exactly right here. Sometimes we need a break from the mental ones we usually get in a point horror. And hey, a quick kiss with a cute boy from school at a party is fine. It's not like we're looking for romance in these ones.
Yeah.
That's so true.
And this takes place over a matter of hours. How much development of this romance can we get?
Yeah, definitely. Speed Rating said, young love.
Oh,
Sharon said the pretty dress getting ruined was sad. Yeah, Ruth, Speed Rating said with a mad face. Marissa says she was an absolute cow bag. She was
it's
awful.
awful. Absolutely
Speed
awful.
Speed Rating said I thought it was Ruth as we didn't have a lot of suspects. Yes, it was quite clever in a way because like Ruth and then Dolly, who was like the girlfriend of oh god, his name's gone out of my
Donald.
head. Donald, yeah.
Donald and Dolly.
What a duo. Like,
I know.
but it was quite clever how those were like planted early on, and you kind of does run through your head. Could it be them? Like ultimate revenge?
Yes, because I think it's never going to be an insider. I don't think we seriously think it's Kath because they're just
Mm,
tiny little insects to her. So we
yeah,
know it's someone from the outside, and we've got Dolly and we've got Ruth, and then we know that Shane's got a bit of a past, and there's no one for Maggie who might come in from the side. But I guess Dolly is a threat to Maggie and Donald because they're
yeah,
always as the couple.
yeah.
So I guess they're the only suspects we have really. Though I think for me reading through, Shane's past always seemed more
Mm,
important. So I felt like you kind of knew it was someone connected to
yeah,
Shane.
no, definitely. I just think they did such a good job of, like, I know as a teen when I read this, I was always quite shocked that of the reveal, like how that was done. Which we'll have a chat about in a minute. But
Mm.
I always remember as a teen, that's why it became one of my favourites. Was I was always like, oh, this is quite clever, like quite clever twist. It's not really one of the main characters. It ended up being someone who was at the party, who was from
Yes.
the past. So yeah, I thought it was clever. Scott said, I thought Ruth was going to be the villain for most of the book. Kirsty said, I just kept thinking of the peacock get up in Halloween night. So in October, we read Halloween night, and she wears this like peacock
Mm.
um, Halloween outfit. Yeah, brilliant. Larissa said Maggie and Donald were kind of cute with their "Ooh, I secretly like you." Yeah.
They were. We don't find out so much about Donald anyway, but I really ship them because you know what
Mm,
it's like when you've got a friendship group and there's one guy, don't know why, just the one, but they like each other and it's reciprocated and it's nice and wholesome
yeah.
and simple.
Definitely. I really liked their like relationship. And then like when he's found in the freezer as well and he's like, where's Maggie? And I'm like, oh, young
And they look
girl.
after each other when they're both safe as well. That was really sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So Sarah, we haven't really chatted about, so she's our main character. So we've chatted about her with Riley and all that, but uh, did you like Sarah, like as a main character?
So it's interesting with Sarah because I remember when I read this as a kid, I didn't like her that much. I
Ah,
think it was partly because in the early chapters, her full name keeps getting repeated, and it annoyed me. And I thought, I know
yeah.
she's Sarah Elizabeth Drew. I know that. Don't do it. But that was just the whims of me being 12.
Mm,
Rereading it, I do like her because I think she's just over everything. She doesn't want to be here. She's quite no nonsense. I mean,
mm.
any girl who can pick a lock with a credit card, you've got to
Oh,
give some respect
yes.
to. And I think she has enough of a backstory with the music and wanting to knuckle down and
Mm,
knowing that she's not cool and being fine with her not being cool. I think it's just my feeling as an adult. I think she's just cool,
yeah,
actually. And I
yeah,
like that.
yeah. I really liked her on this reread. I thought I like the way that she is trying to, go out of her way to find her friends and try because she starts to walk away from the party when she escapes her room, the music room that she's locked
Yeah.
in initially, which I thought the credit card thing was cool as well. But she starts to like go away from the house, and then she kind of thinks, "No, I can't leave my friends." And I was like, "Yes, Sarah, yes, go and
Yeah.
save them."
I like that moment of realism because she would think about going, and also she didn't want to be there as her friends. And you
Mm,
would have understood if she'd thought, you know what, guys, I'm going home. I've got my music practice. I've got 3 hours today to do to catch up on.
yeah, she was
But
committed.
really committed. But I just think she's really competent. She's the kind of person you would want to be there in a crisis.
Mm, no, definitely. And I like the way there was a quote somewhere along the line that she said, something about this whole thing just didn't feel right to Sarah.
But no, yeah, it
Mm.
really, really doesn't. Mm.
Larissa said Sarah had no qualms about standing up to Cass, and that was cool. Yeah, I like the way she stood up to Cass.
Yeah,
Um,
she just is so okay with who she is and her social standing. She doesn't care if she's labelled as unpopular after this or Cass hates
mm,
her. She
mm.
knows what's right and she's going to do that.
Yeah, no, definitely. Speedway Chick said Sarah saved everyone. Yeah, she did.
Yeah.
Eddie Ray said Sarah was suspicious in the beginning, with even getting the invite, but went for her friends. Ah, And good thing because they'd all be unalived otherwise. Yeah, so if Sarah wasn't there, they would be.
Because although presumably some of the others have also been taught the credit card trick, they didn't have stuff on them, or maybe wouldn't have thought of doing it because she's clearly got loads of initiative.
Yeah, I mean, look at the ending with the dart, like throwing the dart. I mean, what good aim! I would completely miss.
No, I couldn't do that. I that really stayed with me as well because it's so specific, the
Yeah,
dart. She's using something she's got there. She just got one shot, maximum drama. And I think because the dart is so small and so sharp, it seems quite, I don't know, just quite impactful. And
yeah,
I've just always thought that was cool. I mean, she can
yeah.
throw stuff as well as like music and getting with the nice guy. I mean, what's not to like?
I like that with Diane Ho's books actually. Now I think about it, because I think in the train there's like some type of ice pick throw. Obviously in this one there's a dart throw. Like she does seem to do like unique weapons, and I quite like that. We need that. Larissa said you can definitely understand the panic of just wanting to get away before the realization. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you've been locked in a room, you don't know what's going on, you're going to be disorientated, like, yeah, and then you just realize, no, I can't leave my friends.
Yeah.
Definitely. Speed Rating said, did it say Sarah learned the credit card trick from Maggie's brother? Yeah.
Yeah, Maggie's brother Sean. He never gets mentioned again, but gets a
Yeah.
name, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I like that. Larissa said Diane Ho wrote some really good ones. Yeah, some good deaths. I saw that Larissa had put something about Maggie. So yeah, so Larissa said I liked Sarah, but Maggie was definitely the standout with how much she kicked ass in her escape. So obviously Maggie gets transported by the killer to inside a car, which I'll be honest, I find that really hard to read because without going too much into it, unfortunately, I lost someone by that way when I was younger, a friend. So I find that those scenes really hard to read. So I did gloss over them quite quick because I find it quite hard. But I thought the way it was written and the way Maggie was and the way she handled that whole situation of being locked in that car with the fumes and everything, brilliant. Like, did you
Yeah,
like Maggie?
I do like Maggie, and I think the whole sequence with the car, again, that's something that stayed with me because she is, I think it's the claustrophobia.
Mm,
It's such a specific place to put someone, and we keep coming back to it. It's the most drawn out scenario of someone being trapped, and it is genuinely really tense and
yeah,
worrying. And she's trying lots of different things that are logical and just the idea that she eventually gets it to move and smash it through. I mean, she's desperate. She thinks she's going to die, and she still keeps it together.
yeah.
So, and if there was one sequence in this book that I think is like really stand out, I think it's that
Mm,
one, just
yeah.
because it's really well executed.
Yeah. And just the way that she doesn't know what's behind that wall either, but she's like, if I don't do this, then I've got to, I've got to do it. So, but she doesn't know what's behind there. She just risks it and goes for it. I loved Maggie. I loved her. I thought she was
Yeah.
brilliant.
Oh, I did too. And she's such an excitable ball of energy beforehand. So you can't help but like her and care about her. And you know that she's got this crush on Donald and they're going to
Yeah.
act on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, thanks, guys, for giving me little hugs. Thank you. It's just hard. Like there was a scene in the Midnight Club, I think, which was similar, and I found that really, really hard to read. Well, no, sorry, it was in the TV series to watch. So, yeah, it's. But weirdly, it's just like back when I was younger. I would have been like, oh, this is so cool. But now I'm like, oh, life experience and stuff. It's
Oh,
woo.
oh, I know. And anything that is slightly close to
Hits
home
hard, yeah,
is just
definitely.
too tricky.
Yeah. Scott said it was a really well written scene. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, Eddie May. Hugs to you as well. Narissa said, I love how much she was determined to do it no matter what. Yeah, no matter what was on the other side. Yeah, she was amazing character. I would actually read a book from like just pure Maggie.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think there's so much potential. We know that she does drums, doesn't she? Drumming
Oh,
parades,
yeah,
which to
I
me as a
forgot.
kid seemed really exotic because it's much more of an American
Yeah.
thing. So I would like that too.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Speedway Chick, Road to Nowhere by Christopher Pike. Yeah, that was the one. So powerful. Yeah, it really was. So yeah, out of the friendship group, then, who do you think had it worst in the? I'll say the people hunt, but the people hunt that then they got moved to the worst locations. Who do you think had it worse?
Oh, so for me, I don't think Donald has it as bad because he's not there for very long, really. So it doesn't feel
No,
as bad.
it's like in the fetal position, like.
Oh, I know, even though I'm a massive wimp with the cold, so I hate it.
Yeah.
What happens to Ellie is horrible as well. And Shane is not really in any peril apart from a grumpy cat, because Lynn, of course, is going to come and have her moment with her. So I love the grumpy cat, actually. I don't know what happens
Oh,
to
the
it in the end.
cat. Yeah, I completely forgot. I was thinking cat, but I was like, yeah, all she does is get scratched. Oh, well, no,
Sorry,
apart from what happened at the end, but you know.
I know. I mean, scratches can be quite. I mean, I've got the cat scratch on my
Yeah,
arm
I'm
because
covered as well.
I know because I've got a kitten who's free with his claws. But I mean, I was half expecting the grumpy cat or the irate cat to come and do something in the grand moment at the end. But I guess it's just
I did
sleeping.
as well. I thought definitely. I mean, by that time the cat's probably got out because the doors had been left open for that long. But I thought the cat's gonna like jump out of nowhere, out of the darkness, and go meow, just like my cat does in the morning at six
Yeah,
o'clock.
exactly. I thought that, but I think in terms of the who had it worse, I mean, I wouldn't like any of those, but
Mm,
I think it feels like Maggie has it
yeah.
worse because it's isolated and just that's just much more visceral.
Yeah, no, definitely. And oh, Karen's put that's why books are cool, as they help you process all of life's adventures. Yeah, that's so true. Larissa said, Christ, they all had it pretty bad. Freezing, boiling, or gassing. Yeah, they all had it
Yeah,
bad.
I wonder. We don't find out, do we, what Lynn had in store for Sarah?
Oh,
I don't know if you can top
yeah. I
those.
wonder what she was gonna do with Sarah. I mean,
Yeah.
there's not that many many rooms left, was there?
No,
Maybe she would have just put her in with the heavy metal bands. That would have been enough for Sarah.
it probably would. It would have just driven her absolutely out of her mind.
Oh dear, Speed Ratchet said, yes, the cat. Oh, it just made me laugh though with that scene where she's like, oh, I love cats. It would totally be me, this would so happen to me. Oh, I love cats, come here. And then wow.
I know.
Oh,
And it's the lovely symbolism of she's got a very placid white cat, and this is an angry black cat as well.
yeah, I love that. Eddie Ray said, who went up to the attic? Was it Shane who got bloodied by the killer? That one. So did no Sarah, so Sarah and Lynn, wasn't it, who was
Yeah,
really Gwen? No, Gwen, who was really
it's
Lynn.
really
I'm getting them muddled up. Went up to the attic, and then Gwen slash Lynn hit Sarah over the head, right? I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
To
then so
just get her out of the way.
yeah, yeah, that's it. And Shane was the one with the cat scratches. That's right, isn't
Yeah,
it? Yeah. Oh, so much went on in this book. Larissa said, I think the cat was just a way for her to vent her thoughts. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, Kirsty said Sarah probably would have been the swimming pool.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, something like that, definitely.
Oh, probably had like one of them covers over the top of it as well, and then she would have been under the cover.
Oh, 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 that is horrible.
Oh,
Yes, she
oh,
would have done, and Sarah just would have kept treading water until she just
yeah.
got exhausted.
Oh,
Oh,
ooh, that's giving me a shiver down the spine. That has. Ooh. Speed Rated said, I actually can't believe Lynn was willing to become a murderer over failed jewellery theft. Right, so the ending of this book. So basically, we get the reveal. But I did quite like the fact that Gwen, this party goer who then decides to help them, all of a sudden is the twist, and she pulls off this. Well, she doesn't do it on page, but she was in a blonde wig. I wish she had though. Wish she'd gone. Ha! Look who I am. Did you like that reveal?
I did. I thought the Gwen is actually Lynn. I thought that was
Mm,
really great. I thought that when I read it as a kid, blew my mind, and I still
yeah,
think it's
same.
great because she just appears like a nice girl who's just trying to help a bit. I didn't suspect her because she's not really introduced with any description. She doesn't seem significant, and then it
Mm,
turns out that's who she is. So I thought that was great.
yeah, and you could so imagine that being played out like in a movie as well, the way that would be done. And I could just imagine how shocked I would be in like a film version of this, like, like like a gasp. Definitely. I really liked the reveal, and that's one thing that stuck with me from when I read it back in the day, as I mentioned earlier. Like, I just remembered it just being like, what? It's like blowing my mind a little bit. However, the motive of it being
Yeah.
so obviously we know Shane, it's drummed in us from the beginning. Shane's got some type of past, and I'm like, ooh, delicious. This is going to be like scandalous. And all it ends up being is she stole some jewellery and got in trouble, and she had to move town. And it was all very dramatic.
Oh, it's such a letdown, that part. I thought they'd done something really awful. And bearing in mind that we're dealing with a book that has literal mass murder in,
Yes.
I thought Jane would have done something dreadful. I initially thought there was a third person in their friendship group and there was an accident and something
Yeah.
dreadful happened to this person. But it's just a ring in a mall, and it's a
Mm.
really nutty plan anyway. So sad about that.
I was hoping. I mean, obviously, I remembered the end, but I like rereading it. I thought, I wonder if Diane Hoh had a different idea. Like, if I think of spoilers for Urban Legend, if no one's seen it, so just put your fingers in your ears. But like the way they do the ending of Urban Legend, the film, like that kind of like something's happened in the past, and then they're coming for revenge, kind of thing. And like I was hoping for a bit more of that and not just, oh, we stole some jewellery, a ring. And it wasn't even much jewellery, it was just a ring.
I know. And it was just two girls just in the mall. Let's just steal that. And
Yeah.
I don't know, I wanted it to be really evil.
Yes, I wanted it to be really evil as well. I was like, oh dear, this is a bit of a letdown. But I think Dan Ho had a different plan and she changed it. That's what I'm going with anyway.
Maybe. And I think it needed to be something quite simple and easy to
Yeah.
understand. So
Yeah.
Feth kind of fitted the bill there.
Yeah.
And I suppose we want Shane to feel guilt but not be utterly traumatized.
Mm.
I'm going to choose to also believe there was something else there that's a bit more juicy.
Yeah, I think so. There's got to have been more because they made this big thing about how the parents decided because it was such a scandal in the town that they had to leave the town. But poor Lynn, her parents couldn't do that because they didn't have enough money. And then like we get this whole description of Lynn of how like she looks totally different because she's got mild weight gain and messy hair. Story of my life.
Oh,
And basically,
name is even Block. His name's Block. I mean, what hope did this girl have?
oh dear. But yeah, so like yeah, it was a bit of a letdown, definitely. I was like, yeah. I think I've written down here, I was just looking. So I've put Gwen was actually the mystery person with the baggy coat and large floppy hat all along. Oh.
Perfect. So one thing I don't understand about Lynn is just Lynn is she had so much to offer to the world because
Mm.
she is clearly immensely handy. She can get rid of railings, she can totally mess up cars, get rid of handles,
Cart
break
people up
temperature gauges.
hills.
And
Yeah,
it's
cart people everywhere.
yeah. And I love the moment when she says, "There's no safety rail now." A few turns of a screwdriver, no big deal. And I'm like, is Lynn just amazing? Or is there really shoddy workmanship everywhere in this book?
I mean, how did she have time to do all this? Like, she didn't stop the whole party. She didn't go around collecting no stickers, did she?
No, no, she didn't
Mm-mm.
stop. And also, she's got a brilliant memory because one tour posing as a caterer, and this is how I know this place so well.
It's like, yeah, so she got into the house pretending to be a caterer, but like, when did she have time to like do all this stuff?
Yeah.
And like, yeah, and
Someone say, look, why are you slacking? Chop up pieces for the hamburgers or whatever they're eating.
we're like, that Lynn's disappeared again. Oh, on the break.
Oh,
But yeah, so she was carting bodies left, right, and centre, and like pushing them over and stuff into saunas and things. She had some energy.
if she had not been totally wicked, she could have done amazing things.
Definitely, I agree. But that whole ending, as you mentioned, like she mentioned that she'd taken the railing down, and then obviously that's a downfall. Oh, excuse my pun there, but she does fall. I'm here all
Love
week,
it.
but it was her downfall because she gets hit by the dart that Sarah throws in her arm. Like it couldn't be her eye or like somewhere else, just in her arm or her wrist, I think it was.
Riff. Yeah.
And it makes her lose her balance. And I'm sure it mentions that she's in heels, at the end, but I might be
Oh,
wrong
wow.
there.
What a girl.
Yeah.
Seriously, anyone who can walk in heels has my respect. And all of that in heels.
I'm
Wow.
sure it does. And whether they were like high heels, I'm not sure, but I'm sure it mentions that she loses balance on the stony outside because the dart. So you can just imagine how this is playing out. She's like, oh, then she loses balance and then, yeah,
Yeah.
falls. And
Good
then,
old Riley is on hand to grab Shane. I mean, I guess in that sense, Sarah needed somebody else
yeah,
there to do a little bit of, muscle work.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, we'll give him that one. And then all of a sudden the police rock up. She's dead. So, oh dear. We
Fine,
know.
throw another party again.
I
Love
was
it.
kind of hoping though when they looked over the edge that she wasn't going to be there and it's going to be like a Michael Myers
Oh,
situation.
oh,
Yeah,
I would have loved that so much.
that
It would
would have
have
been
felt
so
quite out of
good.
step with the book, but I would have loved it.
Would have been good, wouldn't it? um, yeah, a lot of people saying about the jewellery was hilarious. Eddie May said Riley would have felt Sarah's swimming distress and found her.
Yeah,
So we're on about the swimming pool. Yeah,
if we'd had that, I mean,
inch-
I think Riley
mm,
clearly had good powers of empathy, and clearly very good timing as well. Actually, I've been a bit mean to Riley. I mean, the guy doesn't hesitate to go and drag Ellie out from the sauna, even though it's tough. He would totally have just known Sarah was in the pool.
yeah, no, definitely. Like they'd be like, oh.
Feel it.
So Nikki said and made a good point. How did Lynn know which room Cass was going to put Shane in? Because she had already removed the balcony railing in advance. Did I miss something?
Ooh.
Also, where is the railing hidden? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I guess the railing could have just been somewhere out of sight, but have we stumbled upon a plot hole here? Because you've got Kath and her sort of criminal masterminding, and then Lynn jumping on Cass's plan, which I think is quite
Yeah.
clever. But I have no idea how Lynn knew all of the things she knew.
No.
I think that is a plot hole, everyone.
Yeah. Unless because she snuck in as a caterer, and obviously, the help always hears the gossip. So maybe she heard Cass talking to someone about her plan. So the person who takes them to the rooms. I think there's
Morgan.
two people. Yeah,
Yeah.
Morgan. Yeah, we'll just go with that. Like they overheard her talking to Morgan
Yeah,
about it.
or maybe the caterers, I mean, Cass would not be this kind, put a little bit of food and drink in the trapped rooms for Sarah and her friends if they'd been there for a while, and Lynn was like, aha.
Oh,
But
maybe. I like that. Speed Race Chick said, to be clear, the reveal was fine, but not the reasoning. Yeah, I thought the reasoning was funny. But as Narissa said, personally, I love a ridiculous, laughable motive. It did make me laugh, I have to say. Yeah,
yeah, I
did
think it's
like
just the
it.
way it's bigged up and then it's a ring.
Yeah. Oh, Narissa said the railing is probably just on the ground beneath. Oh, so she probably fell on it.
Mm.
Oh,
Oh,
that's probably why she died.
I mean, that would
Straight on
be
the
poetic
railing.
justice.
Oh,
You know, if you unscrewed the railing, this is what you get.
yeah. Sharon said Lynn works fast despite letting herself go a bit. Yeah, that's true.
Mm. Oh, I quite like that actually.
Yeah, I
I
do.
wish it was true for me.
And me. Speedway Chick said Lynn knew the layout of the house all right. Yeah, she really did. And Kirsty says she totally could have won the voucher. She could
She could have like done the
have.
original hunt, won the voucher, then done her wicked plan and just aced
Yeah.
the whole party.
Hope she collected the stickers as she went along, moving all these people. Or maybe Sarah, yeah, because she didn't move Sarah, she missed that sticker.
Oh yeah, only 4 out of 5.
That's why she lost it at the end. That was the real reason she
She
didn't get
wanted
that
those
final
stickers
sticker.
and she wanted the voucher. And you think about the stickers, the voucher's a really rubbish prize. I mean, maybe not back in the day, but
Yeah.
it's not exciting or sexy, a voucher.
Yeah, Scott said she seemed to know the layout of the massive mansion. Yeah, definitely. Speedway Chick said maybe. Oh yeah, Narissa said the catering crew got a tour. I think she said. Oh, so the
Mm.
catering crew got took around. Yeah. So Speedway Chick said maybe we shouldn't pick this one apart. Too much fun and ruin it. Yeah, we're not gonna.
Exactly,
I'm
exactly.
sure.
Did
I'm sure I
Lynn
did write down another like plot hole kind of thing, but I'm not going to mention it.
No, I think let's just explain everything by Lynn
Yeah.
was really smart. And let's not forget
Yes.
she does also track Shane down to the new town where she is
Yeah.
somehow.
Yeah. Because
Brilliantly, like internet
no
as well.
internet. Because this was this was released in 1992 over here, 1991 in the US. So yeah, no internet. So she did pretty good.
Oh, she did have so much to offer to the world.
Yeah.
Poor old woman.
Bless her. Kirsty said, I did think that the dart was going to be in the eye. Yeah. That would
Too
have been
dark,
good.
maybe.
um, Scott, this is what I wrote down. Also, why did she leave her own clues? So she rewrote her clues, which I thought were better than Cassie's clues, to be
Yeah,
honest.
because she kind
Mm.
of wanted. This is confusing as well because she kind of wants them to figure it out, but also doesn't at the same time. And she doesn't know that Sarah's going to escape to look at the clues. That's
Oh.
confusing, actually.
But Kirsty's put so that people found her hideous crimes.
Yeah,
Yeah, she wanted them dead bodies to be found. She did.
yeah. It's the only explanation. She wants people to know how clever she is because
Yeah,
otherwise it makes no sense.
yeah. Larissa said she wants the bodies to be found. Because maybe she was actually trying to like stitch Shane up rather than no. She said did say she was going to kill Shane, didn't she? Push her off the thing. So yeah, I don't know how she
Yeah,
thought she was going to
yeah,
get away with that one, but anyway.
yeah. Maybe she didn't think that far ahead because it's not as though she wants the bodies found and Shane to have this awful moment. She just
Yeah.
tells her who's done it.
It's like Scott's just said she seemed like she would want credit for her crimes.
Mm.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I can't. Do you know what? I actually think she was a good villain. Like, I think she thought the plan out, she followed it through, she collected her stickers along the way, and yeah, she executed the plan very well.
Yeah,
They just didn't die.
perhaps she regrets not getting the credit for stealing the ring, so she wants the credit for
Yeah,
multiple murder.
that's it. Kirsty said, but they could have seemed like a multiple murder suicide. Yeah.
Oh, possibly. Very
Mm.
dark.
So just a final last question. So obviously we come to a very abrupt end, like very quickly. So what would you like to have seen after that? Like, what do you think happened after that abrupt ending?
So I think there'd be lots of oblivious party guests going home. I think Cass would probably get on the phone with her parents and try and do damage limitation.
Yeah, because she
Uh,
needs another party again
exactly.
at some point.
But I think what I wanted, I would have really liked in the last chapter, and the ending's too abrupt for me, is just some time for the friends to decompress a bit. I want to see
Yeah.
Donald and Maggie holding hands in the
Oh,
hospital. I want to
oh,
see something happen with Ellie to make her realise that, she's better than she thinks she is, even though she is, to be fair, a bit useless. But I wanted
mm,
her to grow a bit. And I wanted Shane to come away thinking I've got real friends
yeah.
now, and a bit of romantic closure with Sarah and Riley, because Sarah knows she's awesome at the start of a book. She's still awesome at
Mm,
the end of the book. So,
mm,
she
yeah.
can have a nice moment. But that is probably what happens. They all have a chat about all of this, and their friendship
Yeah.
is strengthened. But just three
Yeah.
pages. That's all I wanted.
Just a little something. It would have been nice. Like Nerissa said, the gang heading off for a good old pizza party.
No,
Yeah.
PJs.
Yes, in their PJs. Kirsty said I wanted the tearful reunion. Yeah, I would have liked like just a little scene of them going to the hospital, and all being all together as like a little reunion. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that would have been nice. And maybe Ellie's awful sister Ruth, because Ellie's had a near death experience, she maybe realizes that she's been a bitch and she shouldn't be. But maybe
Yeah.
that's asking too much.
And some resolution on Dolly. Like,
Ah,
what happened there? Did she like come and stalk? Could she
yeah.
be the
Or
sequel?
yes, or she might have come and said, you know what, Donald, you're too much trouble. I'm glad I wasn't at that party after all. We're done.
Yeah, Sharon just thought I wanted to know what else Dolly was going to do. Yeah, definitely. I think we just
Yeah.
missed out there. All we needed was a little epilogue, like as you say, 3 pages. That would have been
Yeah.
good.
But we can
Star,
headcanon it, so it's all right.
yeah, we can just make it up. Stargazer said a lot of them have a pretty quick. Oh no, I don't know whether you know this, but I can't say like really hard big words. So a lot of them have a pretty quick denouement after the after the climax. Sometimes people put hard words in the chat, and I take the challenge, but I don't always win. So a denouement after the climax. So prom night had like 2 pages. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Kirsty said no, Ruth would have just been I told you so.
But I would have quite liked that, and maybe Ellie just flips a finger at her or something.
Yeah, definitely. And Scott said yes, so much was left up in the air. But as we say, I do kind of like that sometimes, because then my mind goes on a little wonder, like, oh, I wonder what happens with these characters.
Yeah. I think with this bunch, I think we know that they're going to stay friends
Yeah,
and they're going to
definitely.
get through the awful aftermath together. So I
Yeah,
think even if Diane Hoh had written something, it probably would have been that.
yeah. And all the core memories they created together that night will stay with them forever.
Oh.
Definitely. So, did you enjoy revisiting the invitation after all these years? Was it as good as you remembered?
It was as good as I remembered. I really enjoyed revisiting it, and also looking back on it, having written my own books, I was quite impressed with how simple the structure is, but how well it works in
Yeah.
that We've got our suspects connected to some of the friendship group floating around. We've got the everyone's in different peril. Sarah needs to find them all.
Mm,
It's so simple, but it really works for a book of that length. So
yeah.
I enjoyed revisiting it, and it was what I wanted it to be.
Yeah, and exactly the same. I really enjoyed revisiting it after all these years. Still one of my favourites. Up there as one of my favourites, definitely. I loved it. So, yay, brilliant. Oh, but thank you, Gina. Thanks for coming back and like chatting about this one. I was so excited to chat about this one with you because I knew it was one of your favourites. So, thank you ever so much. And as I
Oh,
mentioned,
it's been a pleasure. Pleasure.
uh, and as I mentioned, do check out Gina's books. Honestly, brilliant and party setting.
Yeah.
But do check out Gina's books. I'll pop the pictures of the other ones up as well in my stories. And thanks to everyone in the chat who reminded me of things that I'd forgotten about and all your fab comments. Oh, thanks, guys, and see you soon. Bye. Bye.
Bye.